Hi, Gary Brown here, and today we're going to be looking at the ultimate seared steak. I saw this recipe first off a couple of years ago in the New York Times, tried it inside on the range and inside the oven, worked like a champ. Well, at the Cobb, I figured I could do the same thing. I was inspired to do it by a recent little article in Cook's Illustrated magazine, where they were talking about how frozen steaks don't need to be thawed to be cooked, and in fact work out better when you don't thaw them. So what I've done is I've replicated that for the Cobb using the Cobb frying pan and the little Cobb grill rack. So what you want to do is start out with some really good steak. I'm lucky. Coastal Seafood here in the Twin Cities, in addition to having just absolutely killer seafood, also has Duroc pork from, I believe, down in Iowa, and they also have super prime steaks. These are the ones that are marbled, and they are the anti-lean steak. They are marbled, they have lots of fat in them, and the fat means juicy, and like I say in my note here, deal with it. And you want fresh meat too, but it can be frozen fresh meat because you know we're going to be freezing it too. But you need to make sure something is correct when you're freezing that steak, and it's a really important first step. So we'll be using just a little bit of oil. I'm going to be using peanut oil in this process because it can stand the high temperatures that are inside the grill. Off to the side, I started a couple of baked potatoes in the microwave so they wouldn't take long to cook. So when I freeze the steaks, one of the things is you need to make sure that the bottom is absolutely flat. So I've got a shake pan. It's more like a cake pan. I suppose you could shake it. I've got a cake pan and put some aluminum foil on top of it because who wants to clean a pan? Sprayed it with some oil, and then I put salt and pepper on those steaks and put it in the chest freezer downstairs in the basement so it would get rock solid. So I started the fire, I guess it was about 3 hours after I put the steaks into the freezer. Used a lot of coals this time because, again, I wanted to get that griddle really hot. So wait until the coals are absolutely totally covered with that gray ash. That lets you know you're going to be hot. So when you see that gray ash, go downstairs to your chest freezer or other convenient place. Pull out those steaks, put them where you can get at them. And you want to have that griddle hot too. So actually, before you take the steaks out, get the griddle hot for about 20 minutes, put some peanut oil on it, smush it around with a spatula, and then put your steaks on. They will make a nice sizzle. So you can see there are little bubbles popping up and away and know that steak's cooking. Don't put the lid on because you want the top of that steak to stay frozen. If you put the lid on, it's gonna melt the steaks. You don't want the steaks melted. You want them to stay frozen. So about 3-4 minutes, pop them up every so often, look underneath them, see if they got the nice level of brownness. That is your Maillard reaction going. That's the tasty bits. Flip them over, more sizzles, and again, don't put the lid on because you don't want to thaw out the middle of the steaks. So you're gonna be using this, letting them sit there until they get that nice color. Then you'll put them aside for a minute, put the grid up there on top. That's the same one you'd be roasting a chicken on usually. Put the steaks on there, stick a instant read thermometer in there on a cable because you do not want to keep lifting the lid. You want to put the lid on, let the lid stay. Put your baked potatoes, I've oiled them, put some salt on them, and really this is a minimally seasoned dish. Lots of salt and pepper on the steak, salt on the potatoes, and you put the lid on and you just let it chug. And it's going to take, I'd say 30-35 minutes for that steak to get up to temperature because remember, it's frozen solid in the middle. If you looked at that little thermometer in the picture, you can see that that's sitting, I think it's about 38 degrees right there, and so it's cold. Well, when it gets up to temperature, and for rare you want 118, for medium rare you want 122. When you see it hit that temperature, pull it out right away because minutes matter. If the temperature goes up too fast, you're going to ruin the whole process. You want to let the steaks rest. You put them in foil, wrap it up. And while that's resting, you're going to be getting your potato finished off there. Then you take it out. Lo and behold, look at the center of that nice juicy red. And I made some mushroom sauce as a side. Nice tossed salad with Dorothy's wonderful salad dressing that she makes. And drops of Jupiter. A really good generic red wine that we pick up in Iowa down at the Hy-Vee grocery stores. So you want to talk to the Cobb folks, there's the link on the screen, and that New York Times article, there's a link there too. Of course, you can try this inside, but it's a lot more fun to do it on the Cobb grill. Trust me on this one, you will have one of the juiciest steaks you have ever had. Well, this is Gary Brown. Stay tuned, I'll be having more recipes, and it's been great talking with you.